as we continue with our conversation, let me share with you the story. So, first, being ordinary. It is actively easy for enlightened individuals who hold intelligence that is the self aware, accountable, regulating person. So, you own your sense of self. Moving into healthy self worth makes it easy for you to do mindfulness, mindsight, and mindset practices that allow you to expand inner and outer well being. Those who first need a good therapist, they get to do that. And once they're ready to be that functional adults and or to work with those who are functional adults to get out of maladaptive and adaptive child pattern behaviors, they will be here. And so that's the part of where narrow states of consciousness can want to move to expanded. And in time and with the expanded consciousness, that's actively what can happen together. So we're going to use a story. It's not mine. This is Sadhguru's from his the Yogi official website. Okay, so Adiyogi, the source of yoga. Let me specify where this comes from. So again, not mine. You can find Adiyogi official on YouTube and you can follow along. It was posted 2 days ago. Okay, so the copy says, did you know during Adiyogi and Parvati's wedding that it almost got canceled, and that it is a scene that has inspired many television and film writers in subsequent millennia, which is why we actively also have people thinking that suffering is love, which that's not it. Although I share with you in our previous episode the part about how those of us who tap into the collective, we really don't enjoy that suffering bit. What I have to say is that it's a biochemistry of fear from those who own a shame cycle, who are not at a good therapist seat, who do not learn how to consistently regulate their own nervous system. So some will say you can't always be on, like the Zen master with laundry. It's not about always being on. It's that you own the prefrontal cortex. You own the heart. You own the gut. You own your personality traits. You own that which is yours, spirituality, life of meaning, connection beyond the soul self, but also putting into practice. Mindfulness is not a one-time shot. That's not actively how it works. So yes, laundry, but it's not laundry when you have the comfort of being a human. You say emotions. It's also why we don't chase our twin flame or flames. They don't run away from us. It's called we actively choose things. That's how it works in life. You are a choice point. I'm a choice point. How I treat you, how you treat me. So no need to suffer. But there are plenty of those who don't own their 1-year-old. They actively do live shame, blame, fault, revenge, and then they actively are in our energy sphere. And so for a 5D mystic, we will perceive it. Unlike the 4D, we don't perceive it in that way of, oh my God, it's Lucifer, devil, it's demons. It's more of, wow, they still haven't learned to use their prefrontal cortex. Well, I guess there's always next year. Stuff like that. So yeah, we don't have anything except for masculines, divine or not, pretend feminines, divine or not. They don't impress us. We're impressed by those who claim the piece of life they are. That's because it's nice to know other pieces of active, expanding consciousness, which are functional adults. So join us. When we meet narrow states of consciousness, we don't lecture them. There's no need to. An expanding piece of consciousness will actively know this. Doesn't matter how old you are. You'll learn easily. Very fascinating. I see. Got it. That's why Rabbi Feminines, we're okay with starting something new. We actually like, okay, good. They didn't text me back. So happy about that one. I don't have to actually say anything. So we get it. We get to be surrounded by those who actively are okay with being ordinary. And so, oh, by the way, yeah, they don't fall for looks or for how well your mouth works, for that matter. They actually don't fall for shit. They're smart. That means they use their left and right. They own their inner child. That's the only time you're going to be smart, because you see yourself. You soothe yourself. You secure, safe first, and then secure. So once you have a decent amount of earned secure attachment, yeah, then you're going to come around, because a healthy self-worth person is going to be like, I'm done with this bullshit. All these people, they don't know what love is. They're just playing the battlefield. It's unfortunate how the abandonment wound, one, affects the borderline personality that doesn't know about their borderline lens, which is healable. Also, other people who I see out there, they're not borderline, but they still, I don't trust anyone, Maria. They all disappoint me. I'm like, well, I mean, I got disappointed once, And I recognized that I overestimated. And then I recognized that I didn't overestimate. That's not really nice. I just thought I had Pacha in the forefront, functional adult. So I misspoke. No, I misread. No, you can't know a person until you see them walk a walk and talk a talk. So Pacha can only notice a Pacha as Pacha's walking with Pacha. Same way as Pacha walks with Cusco, finds out Cusco didn't mean what he promised. He actively was going to get him to be killed once he got home. And, the whole story of the Empress New Groove, he even lies to him at the very end. So once you walk with people, you know what they're walking and how they're walking. It's why we don't run or chase our twin flame or flames. Again, unimpressed. Unimpressed. When you're not a Pacha, I'm going to be unimpressed. I'm going to notice if you're becoming a Pacha. I'm impressed. And then I'm going to wait and watch. And then I'm going to continue to wait and watch. And then I'm going to smile. Say, oh, there's my Pacha. Oh, I know you're not mine, but still. So that's how a feminine who's a nurturer will know. They're not hopping the fence. They like to be with the herd. Look, they're helping. Oh, look, they went to lift up. Even if that person is actively doing less work, they still know how to help a herd. I love it. They know that we all are with weaknesses and strengths and that we're heard. We work together cooperatively. Oh, look, the baboons that think that food is good. Oh, look, they're pulling each other's hairs. I love you, Robert Sapolsky. I need to get his interview again. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of ways that I could let you know how the survival mode does not work well for anyone. Oh, and Animal Kingdom doesn't implement it. The only ones who implement it thinking that it's badass in any way, shape, or form are the same people who don't actively recognize that they follow the 7 to 14 charming. And that these human beings are 3-year-olds with a 16-year-old who's getting more popular by the minute, which is why they're getting more soft and more eloquent. And their PR, I don't think, does a very great job. But then again, they do follow the masses, which reminds me, like Stephen Porges, who wanted to write a good book about love and how it is not suffering. And the publisher said, Stephen, the masses want suffering, Stephen. They will only buy drama. And I'm like, damn, Stephen, write that fucking book. I want to read it. You and your wife, you do good research, write it. I want to read it because I already knew it was all about love like this. And then people don't believe me. Maybe no, it's because I want to read it. I don't give a shit about who wants to believe in it. I find it hard to believe that my first 2 years of life, yes, you keep talking, Kuska. I'm going to see you later, alligator. I don't want to have anything. No, I'll say hi to you every now and then. So let me tell you the story, shall I? That's what happens when you are intelligent, emotionally, mentally, and physically. In fact, there's coaches out there that say women are single because they're smart. No, it's not that way. No. Actively, there are men that are just as intelligent. And believe me, I'm pretty sure they're laughing their asses off at the same people I am because that's the way it works when you're smart. You're like, whoa, there's Waldo. Oh, look who's surrounding Waldo. Oh, they're so cute. Okay, I'm going to take it back a notch. Enough teasing. Let me share the story. Oh, so the love, yes, it's when your oxytocin gene hormone is on. As long as you don't know how to love yourself first and have meaning in life, you won't know how to be a true lover, which is why you're not going to keep you on a leash. I didn't realize you didn't have meaning inside of you. Now that I know what this requires, it's good therapy, then you can get into a relationship because then you're going to mean what you say and do what you say and actively feel it too, which means you have life inside of you. If I'm around a Pinocchio with no life, yeah, that hasn't happened. It's happened one human being time. Oh, let's not go there. But see, I was like, you know what? You already knew yourself. Now you know yourself better. And now that I'm attachment trauma informed, then I know what it means when a person has no human being. No, they're a human being. They have a shame button. And that man that gave his little description of why men don't text you back, yeah, the contempt, disgust, and shame. So there's an emptiness, a void, which means I'm so sorry. I hope they found a therapist. This human being, I hope they found a therapist. I just learned I knew myself. Now I know myself better. And this is a good experience because I know what bullshit means even more than I knew yesterday. So we learn how to spot bullshit again. A feminine, a true one. Is why when we see the feminines that are breaking you away from source, we're like, okay, I would love to intervene, but they put them on pedestals and they're the queens. And so they actively will say, how dare you talk about my beautiful woman or man or they. You are the reason why men and women cheat on each other, you polyamory. They don't do it that way, but I'm sure some of them think that. It would be nice if they could tell you to your face shit, you know? But then again, they like to gossip behind people's back because, hey, and then I like to see people that I don't ever gossip. How dare they gossip? So whenever you see a teenager, you'll know who they are. They don't grow up. Oh, I used to be a teenager too. And then I got taught never to say never. I won't forget that when I shared with my empowered women the story. I was like, you know what? I used to say never. And then I remembered learning and I said, okay, the grown ups were right about this one. So the grown ups were right about some things. They were not right about all things. And they were not right about the fact that love diminishes once you meet your true love, your first love, whatever. Yeah, true love is inside of me. My first love was not my most biggest passionate, no, not at all. In fact, a month after being broken up, I'm like, yes, I'm so happy. Wow, really, I didn't realize how many things he didn't know. And no, I'm not talking about physical stuff. Some of us are grace because we actively don't give a shit about this physical stuff if I don't appreciate your intellectual brain, which means you also have an emotional one. Otherwise, you're unattractive completely. Not even a little, completely. COMPL. See, some people, we have substance, which is actively why you don't have to make it into an exaggeration. It is actively, I will know what I'm intrigued and interested by. And if I don't know you, then I don't know. And I might not be interested at all in you physically. And if you don't hear when I say to you that, then I'm not going to come around and see you. Because unfortunately, yes, men seem to think like the old times where no means yes and yes means no, and that's not how it works. So some of us, we just learn how to avoid putting ourselves in unnecessary situations because I get it. It's challenging for the human being who doesn't own their self. And since people don't want to go to get good therapy when they're Cusco's, they act like, I find it hard to believe them. The first 3 years, yes, keep talking to somebody. And as Stephen Porges points out, the publishers, suffering is what goes. So a lot of people don't know true love at all. Let's tell them. Let me share with you. So it's not this, but this is a side note that I want to finish because I also wanted to finish the whole thing about aesthetics and external and how people, the only one who are mesmerized by anything pretendo, are the same people who don't know how to hear grandiosity. And they don't know how to hear it because they don't have sense of self-worth. That means they have shame. That means they're still in hell. And therefore, the person that's 16 with the angry vengeance, yeah, they lead with it. And it's called righteousness. And Sadhguru shares another story about that one, but I'm going to save it for some other time. So, Adiyogi. Okay, this wedding scandal. It's called Divine Union, Tales of Adiyogi and Parvati. Please remember, not mine, Sadhguru's. Okay? Episode 2. Some yogis keep themselves in an uncouth, hideous manner to avoid social entanglement. That means they want to avoid getting into, like the stereotype of police not being able to be with wives and have good lives, all that drama stuff. Yes, that. Okay, so they don't want social entanglements. Adiyogi is also sometimes depicted as smeared in ashes, eating out of a human skull and wearing a garland of skulls. Now, I would have a lot of things to say about this. One, shame cycle people tend to do what is fucking, drinking, drugging, and that inner critic, outer critic brain ruminate, and then they withdraw. So I think of spiritual bypassers, and I think of also mantles of mental health and people who don't know that they need help that will basically avoid social entanglements because I can read a room. I won't go in that room because there's energy vampires in that. So this is the part of where any story can make me think of a bunch of things. The part about how you eat, and yeah, well, that again, some people, oh, Maria, what? You don't believe that lawyers can do cocaine or they shouldn't? You know what? I found out that there's a guy who knows about his holes in his skull and knows because of the cocaine he used. Let me not be the smart ass to tell people about what stuff happens to you. I mean, how old do you want to be before you learn? Really, teenagers need better examples of, okay, here, we don't want to make anything extreme. However, again, just remember what. So I was a smoker, by the way. I still smoke cigars. I drink wine. I'm not exempt from doing stuff that is not healthy, FYI. So I'm just going to say that. But I don't do the drug stuff. And when I heard about holes in your nose and your head, I'm thinking, wow, okay, yeah, that would definitely be something. But I know what teenagers do. They're lying. They're just making up shit. Not really. Go find out information. But hey, you know what? Let me not tell you. So, Adiyogi and Parvati's wedding was the talk of all worlds. Many gods and divine beings attended dressed in their finest clothes. And I know people that think of how properly to dress. In fact, at my birthday, one of them, I love how they said, "Oh, wow, I've never seen you like this." And they look at me like, because I don't dress up all the time. I do it on purpose. 'Cause why would I? I don't have to. Also, because I like being ordinary. And what that means is when I was a teenager, I remember I was putting makeup on. And one day I forgot to put makeup on because I was rushing or something like that. It's not I forgot, I didn't. Somebody said, "Wow, do you have what's wrong? Are you sick?" And that's because I have what are squirrel eyes, or not squirrel, raccoon eyes. I got these bags, right? And that was it. I said, "Wow, if I'm in my ordinary face, they think I have." No, I'm not wearing makeup anymore. Only on special occasions, because I don't want people to get used to seeing me as a pretendo. That's not what I am, and I don't want to have to wear makeup all the time because it pours up my it clogs up my pores. So I was like, moderation, and there you go. And if somebody doesn't like me because I'm not wearing makeup, well, I'm gonna say you judge a book by its cover, and you're not interesting because I know what you are. And it's not bad, it's just narrow consciousness are not attractive to expanding piece of consciousness who have equanimous hearts, open hearted. Yes, we're all imperfect and flawed, but the part that you don't actually have healthy self worth, yeah, I'm going to notice that. And anytime somebody is stopping on aesthetics in a way that is something superficial, I'll notice. It's another thing if you're a connoisseur and you can tell when people are subject matter experts and that's their thing and that's what they love and stuff like that. I'm saying people will actively watch more of someone with a suit and learn how to be proper and learn how to do it. And so that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, my friend, she says, "You know what's missing, right?" I had no fucking clue what she was talking about because again, I don't give a shit. And if I needed to go to a professional conference, I'd be like, "Hey, mom, sisters, who, all of you that are good, makeup advisor, come over, dress me up." That's it. I don't see why I need to socially be in any way, shape, or form. Oh, that's right. I'm in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. That's the societal soul age group. They keep learning about their self through society. So there's that too. I keep forgetting to mention it. So yeah. Um, oh, and these are not set in stone. Please remember, Maria, subjective opinion from one 5D mystic to those of you who are here for spiritual and secular self help with your woo woo pseudoscience spiritual lady. And there you go. Again and again and again, I'll have to make fun of this. It's only bullshit to the ones who don't know how to do it. Mindful living, and they don't want to because being well is fucking boring. And there you go. And they go and they basically eat from human skulls and wear this and say humans are fucked up and da da da. Okay, so Adiyogi in parentheses, yes, finest clothes. Adiyogi, however, came smeared in ashes, wrapped in rags, and fully drunk. And now I'm thinking about, oh, those human beings who actively have done stuff like this. But no, not the ones who actively need a therapist. Even though that's where you will find most of the ones who do something like that could use a good therapist. And then there's the ones who get by, bare minimum. And then you hope that they get better and that they figure out how to live life. You know what I mean? Okay, so he was surrounded by his ganas who made strange noises and crawled on the floor. Now, as I heard this, I'm thinking again of when I was in college and I saw a bunch of people at a home, at a party, and one woman was squatting and peeing in public. Another man was vomiting, I don't even know in what. And I'm thinking, we're in college paying a lot of money and you're doing this. I mean, I get it. I have a little bit more and I'm tipsy too and yuck when I have vomited, but the peeing in the bushes or in the actual, not the bushes, it was actively on the lawn in front of, and I'm like, wow, I don't know what to think except for that's not what college is for. And then there's people, no, that is what it's for. Really, let me think again. Anyone want to get to healthy self-worth versus keep a shame maladaptive child behavior pattern which comes from unresolved trauma? So addictions, FYI, you're prone to be more likely to get addicted to things from your 12 to 24 adolescent brain. And here's where knowledge empowers. So you learn moderation. When you have healthy self-worth adults, they teach you all about it. They also don't make a big deal out of certain things because they know how it works. Teenagers don't tell parents everything, but moderation is key. And again, keeping an eye out in ways that a grown-up who cares will do. The difference is when we have people who don't have any of this. And let's just leave that one alone because That's where the ones of us who have healthy self-worth and have education, we can empower people. And that's to remember that the first, where are you? Pat Ogden, I need her. The first trauma is the actual abuse. The secondary trauma is not having support. So you want to share with people your thoughts if they have maladaptive child behavior patterns or if they have adaptive. And that means how to respect your spaces and stuff like that. But you don't go casting no stones. So while I saw all this, I'm not like they're stupid, stupid people. No, this word doesn't mean anything like smart. Smart, the acronym SMART is stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. And when I say it doesn't mean anything, what I'm saying is here, I'm not using a word in a way of a knife. I'm using words to explain a concept and to really create what is a conscious stream of consciousness right now with you all. I have to use words. Otherwise, I'd be staring at a screen. Okay, so people who like to pick at words, they are adaptive child people patterns. Like a Cusco, they just want to, do their thing. In fact, again, they probably don't know their lens and they don't like authenticity and it ruffles their feathers. And so they begin to grab rocks from their shoes and they try to hit a target without being aware of it. And that's something sad for them, not for us. When you have healthy self-worth, they can keep throwing the rocks. You actually learn how to get out of the way or catch them in a bucket and then, make flowers and stuff like that. So Parvati's mother, Meena, fainted in fright and shock. I can imagine that. When she regained her senses, she refused to allow the wedding to happen. That makes sense, though. Like, what the heck? Okay, Parvati loved Adiyogi in every form. However, for the sake of her mother, she pleaded with him to change his appearance. Adiyogi then took on a resplendent form. He became Sundaramurthy, the most magnificent man that anyone had ever seen. Adiyogi is a destroyer of limitations. He destroyed Meena's limited idea of beauty. And this is a beautiful story. Again, our lovely Sadhguru, as he shares with us, one, the greatest gift you can give to another human being is to accept, respect, and love them. However, let us remember, where are you? This lovely quote. Being on the spiritual path means understanding that the source of your trouble and the source of your well-being are within you. And Bessel van der Kolk, fundamentally every part of the brain is affected by trauma. And also for today, we have this. Once your life is an expression of your blissfulness, you will not be in conflict with anyone. So when you have yourself and you're ordinary, it's because you have awareness of self, accountability, regulation. And then you can work with other people as they claim their own self. And the part about aesthetics, of course, we have a way we present each other to each other. But if you are from an old way of school, you're going to be closed-minded, which I completely, again, understand. There's people who argue about the dictionary having new words, and there's the ones of us who don't give a shit because we're okay with things changing. Because that's the part of when you're a pure piece of consciousness. One, you're consistently changing, but it's expanding because the essence of me remained the same. I continue to expand what I was and what I am and what you are. You are really unconditional love, but that's flawed and imperfect. And when you're socially engaging, instead of hiding away and to avoid entangling, so, this story where they do it on purpose to be, quote unquote, all, not pleasant. There's so many ways we can go about this story, which is why I'm going to pause this and move into another one for us so that I can try and keep you in short little tidbits because I know that the attention span is always, there, but also because I want to harness a couple more topics on being yourself and having people in your life and then being able to know that one, what looks are is nothing compared to what you will watch a person walk and talk. Two, the people who have a hard time walking a walk and talking a talk, they need pachas, and that's the ones who will be self-aware, accountable, and regulating and want to get out of the adaptive, maladaptive child behavior. They will want to get out of spiritual bypassing. They will not talk about it like it's some mantle. They will want to get out of mantle of mental health. They will not talk about it like it's some prize. I was once this, I'm now this. This is not how your tone tells me everything. You just switch sides. When you're authentic, you genuinely say So I bullshitted myself for the spiritual bypassers when I was doing all that I thought I was doing as a special human being, and I found out that it's bullshit and it was all ego talk. But ego talk not in a way of so you go in depth on what it was, not say let's go all to the other side. And this is why I was surprised about what I'm uncovering with the 4D collective, as they actively use words to identify and group those of us who bring all of it together. But it does make sense, because here's when you are afraid, because a 1-year-old that doesn't have an owner remains afraid that they will be rejected, abandoned, unneeded, and our ancestors would then end up being eaten by lions. So I understand where their actual implicit memory comes from. If only they understood what year it was. If only they would keep going to good therapy and keep doing things, So it's a matter of perspective. When you are concentrating on yourself, that's to bring more to you and others. That's why well-being is in the forefront. If you are an intelligent human being, you're not trying to compare yourself. You are looking to become fulfilled with the fulfillment that comes from here. And that involves your emotions, and that involves happiness. And it involves surprise and disgust and fear and anger and sadness. It involves you being able to be a person who's well-rounded with all that which is your secondary consciousness. You're going to not need a person to talk to about what it means to be ordinary too much, because you're already going to intuitively know, yeah, we're all people. And being a decent human doesn't mean what you're wearing or what you're speaking or how you're speaking. You can speak from today to tomorrow. You could wear the fanciest clothes. I'm going to watch how you treat that neighbor when that neighbor throws shit in your face. And then I'm going to watch how you treat your family. And then I'm going to watch how you treat the other people. And then I'm going to keep watching. By the time I probably see you interact with 1, 2, maybe 3 people, and as I hear your words, I'm going to know what you're doing. If I'm a smart feminine, if I'm a smart masculine, and that's because you're a whole person, that means you have a prefrontal cortex. And so you have cleared that slate. You have your implicit, explicit bias, where you come from, use your human name, all of it. It's all here. This is Maria. I'm not using it while I'm listening to you. Shh, be quiet, Maria. Mindful thinking, no, mindful listening. Anybody know how to put it into practice without sounding like it's some special gift? I just did it. It's called I'm going to respect you as you're talking to me, and I'm going to know that I didn't live any day in your shoe. That's why I don't need to get an attitude when you don't agree with my religious beliefs or my political beliefs or my any beliefs actively. You don't need to believe in any of it. I'm the woo-woo spiritual lady. Again, you can make fun of me in however many different ways. Whether you mean it or not, I'm having fun all the same, because your opinion about me is not what I'm looking for. I know why, by the way. I found out why. It's really cool. So I can thank smart people for being in my life. Dr. Daniel Siegel, you're a pleasure, man. I loved. I got to be with him yesterday in a class, not chit chat with him. It's online, but still, and I got to learn about myself. Something that I did know, but I didn't realize just how much of this. Anyways, we'll be back with more. Again, being ordinary. It's very fun. Eric, I have a tail, and I have a dad, and he's not really fun to be around, but I'm sure we can figure it out, because we know how to manipulate our words in smart ways, which means fun ways, not in stupid ways, which is not nice ways, which, we're going to keep making fun of the Waldos. Every now and then I have to. I can't help myself. So join, like, share, and subscribe, and let anybody else who wants to join on in come over. Have a great day.